Hey there, Year 12s. I can see there's a question for 9H question 2e. Let's have a look here. Where is this? Question 2e. Find the derivative. Oh, okay, cool. So 2e. I'm just going to copy this question across. Let's do it over here. All right. We want to derive this. This is question 2e. That to me, when I look at that, that looks like a double chain rule problem actually. So assuming that your chain rule is pretty good, I'm going to show you what I would do here. I'm just going to rewrite the equation. So you got y is equal to the log base e of something. Can you see that? And one of the rules that we know when it comes to derivatives is that we know if you have y equals to log e of x, then the derivative delta y delta x is equal to 1 on x. So this is the one thing we know when it comes to logarithms, right? What we don't have at the moment is we don't have just a variable. See, it's log e of x. There's only one variable there. In our case, we don't have one variable. Instead, we have bracket 2x plus 3 all squared. This is a problem. Okay, if it was just one variable, we would have been able to differentiate it. But because we don't, what we do is we're going to use a chain rule, and I call it a double chain rule, but really you can do it all in one step. But here we go. You would say then let u, so you introduce a third variable, you say let u equal to 2x plus 3 squared. What that changes is that your equation now becomes y is equal to log base e of, so my e looks like a c, e of u, because you introduced a third variable. You're saying let u equal to this entire problem that we don't like. That simplifies the problem now that we can actually find the derivative of it, but it won't be delta y delta x like we originally wanted. We now have delta y delta u. And that, based on the rule that we have over here, well, we know that the derivative must then be 1 on u. So I've got delta y delta u. Now, according to chain rule, which is what we want to find, right? We wanted to find when you have y equals a log e of 2x plus 3 all squared, you wanted to find delta y delta x. So we didn't want u, we wanted the variable x, because in the equation they gave you, it didn't have u. It only had the letter x, or pronumeral x, or variable x. So we know that in chain rule, you can find it by introducing a third variable, so delta y delta u, multiplied to delta u delta x, and theoretically, delta u, the change in u, and times the change in u over here will cancel out by simplification, right? So this is what I have now. I've got delta y delta u. If I can find delta u delta x, which is the derivative of u, then I'm pretty good. Now, the reason why I called it a double chain rule is because you need to know how to differentiate this doing another chain rule. And it's the same concept again. You see, this is something squared. So if I gave you, as an example, if I said u is equal to x squared, and I said find the derivative, you wouldn't have a problem. You would have just told me delta u delta x is equal to 2x and then 2 minus 1, and that just gives you 2x, right? You would have just used the power rule. The problem that you're currently having is the fact that it is 2x plus 3. That's the problem. So again, in this case, we're technically meant to introduce a third variable again. So here to differentiate this, what we wanted was delta u delta x. So I'm going to now introduce a third variable so that I can do the chain rule, and I would use another variable now, so essentially fourth variable, delta u delta a times delta u, a times delta x. That means the delta a's, that next variable I'm going to introduce, will cancel out, and then I can find delta u delta x, right? That's the idea. So how am I introducing this third variable? Well, I'm saying, why don't we replace this 2x plus 3 with another letter? In my case, I'm using the letter a. A is equal to, if you let a equal to 2x plus 3, what you will now have is the equation for u. The equation for u now becomes, and I'm just going to rewrite it again, u now becomes a, which is that entire 2x plus 3 squared, which is so much easier, isn't it? So if I asked you now to find delta u delta a, which is the derivative, right? You would say delta u delta a. I should actually give myself a bit more space. I'm going to move this a bit down, and I'm going to rub this one out. Delta u delta a, which is the derivative of this new u equation, is 2a. That means I now have, I'm just going to circle it, I now have delta u delta a. But that means I need to find delta a delta x, which actually comes from here. Find the derivative of delta a, I should do another color just so we can see. Delta a delta x, which is the derivative of a in terms of x, and we know that derivative of 2x is 2, derivative of 3 is 0. So I now have delta a delta x, and I can then substitute that over here. So normally, that's why I called it a double chain rule, because within the chain rule that you were trying to do, if I zoom out, you needed to find first delta y delta u, which we got. Okay, it's great. Then we needed to find delta u delta x, but in order to find that, you find that you actually end up doing another chain rule to get there. Technically, you are meant to be able to do all of this in one step. I'm just breaking it down for you. Okay, so here, if we fill it in, this is delta u delta a, which we know is 2a, multiplied to delta a delta x, which we found out was 2. And so the answer is 4a. But remember, we're trying to find delta u delta x, meaning the variable that you should be working with is x. It shouldn't have any a's in there. So going back, zoom out, what was a equal to? Well, a was equal to 2x plus 3. So that's why I can say, whoops. Oh, what am I doing? That's why I can say you can rewrite this entire equation as 4 times 2x plus 3. Can you see that? Okay. So this is the derivative of u. So if u equals to 2x plus 3 all squared, that's what I'm doing there. So putting them both together now, because I now have delta u delta x, which goes here, and I already have delta y delta u. So let's put it together. This should be 1 over u multiplied to 4 times 2x plus 3. U is a made-up variable. What was u equal to again? We summarized it up here before. We said u is equal to 2x plus 3 all squared. So putting it all together, you got 1 over, what was it again? 2x plus 3 all squared. 2x plus 3 all squared times 4 times 2x plus 3. And together, you can write it all in the numerator as 4 times 2x plus 3 all over 2x plus 3 squared, and we know that they have a common factor of here, 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3 squared, so we can remove one of the factors on the bottom. So that means this now gives you 4 over 2x plus 3, and that is your delta y delta x. Okay, so that's how you do this problem. Essentially, it's a double chain rule, but you are meant to be able to do all of this in one step. Okay, and then you do all of this in one step. And so that's 2 steps there, and then 3 in your final answer. Okay, so it does mean that if you understood what I was saying, great. If you felt like it was a bit confusing, it may mean you need to practice a bit more with chain rule. And these are great questions to continually train your chain rule. So really work with that, introducing a third variable to help you understand how this chain rule works. But this is a double chain rule problem. Okay.